just started. I forget which one. Colfax, it's been a long road to the Limited Hangout, but yet we find ourselves here. I am Z, your host, as well as a co-host, Colfax. Z and Colfax, Zolfax, I don't know, whatever floats your boat here in the Limited Hangout. We let it all hang out inside the Limited Hangout. Colfax, it is a shocking hour by hour as we follow this country off a cliff or into a war, or a Tomahawk missile sadly striking a school in Iran that the government has denied or has said that it's under investigation, like the Epstein files. What do you got for us today? Anything of note and of newsworthy that you think should be topical for the Limited Hangouters?
A phrase I learned at Princeton: "This country stinks."
Well, you hate America? Why do you hate America, Senator?
Where was that from? I remember that.
Oh, it's been used by history all along, starting with Roy Cohn and his pursuit of homosexuals in the government when he was the biggest one of all. Anyway, we keep digressing. We've got news everywhere, left, right. The former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, is making his rounds, and the administration hates it. He was MAGA. He was not for forever wars. He was in line with what MAGA wanted from their basically less reactionary, less neocon foreign policy. That's what Joe Kent brought to the table. America first, and he's been thrown out with the bathwater. And Colfax, did you hear this? That the FBI is now going to be investigating him for revealing classified information.
I had not heard that, but he's not out with the filthy, dirty bathwater. He is likely to be approved next week. He's a temperamental little red-faced baby.
Well, let's go and see what he had to say briefly on Tucker Carlson TCN. We'll go and see what he was the latest. Can you hear, Colfax?
Yeah.
If this will go, what a perfect time.
No compunction about really fighting anybody who threatens our country, and the Iranians have posed a threat in the past, and the Iranians have a way of threatening America. They have the capability, and we always talk in the intelligence circles about capability and intent, what your enemy is capable of doing and what they actually want to do. And again, back to the data that we have on the Iranians, they used the escalation ladder. We saw that deliberately during the 12-day war. When they struck back after Midnight Hammer, it was very deliberate. They fired an equal amount of missiles as we dropped bombs on the nuclear facilities, and they basically hit a part of a base in Qatar that they knew we didn't have any troops on.
Yes.
They didn't want to go. But also, the Iranians, when they pose a threat to us, they usually do it with their proxies. And if their proxies stick their heads up and their proxies come after us, this is basically the Trump doctrine, we hammer them, and we hammer their high-profile leaders. Qasem Soleimani was highly effective and highly revered in Iran because the previous presidents, prior to President Trump, Obama, and Bush, let Qasem Soleimani run around, raise proxy armies, kill Americans, and no one ever did anything to him. President Trump rightfully killed Qasem Soleimani. We got his deputy, Abu Mahdi Mohandas, who had American blood in his hands, took them off the battlefield. But then President Trump stopped. He took those two key players off the battlefield, and he said, I'm not going to further escalate with Iran unless you escalate with us, knowing that if we struck Iran and we truly struck the regime, that would only strengthen the regime. So then President Trump did something that's incredibly smart, used that decisive military action, but then he coupled it with an economic package of sanctions, maximum pressure sanctions. And we can debate whether or not we should be using sanctions as the prime reserve currency holder or whatever, but he pressured the Iranians economically after punching them in the mouth and showing that, hey, I won't take this. I'm not Obama. I'm not Bush. If you cross a line, I will come after you. But then he really put the pressure on them economically. And if you look at the effect of the economic sanctions,
you would think that this man was talking about an administration he currently works
on the streets, actually protesting against the Ayatollah's government, which is ostensibly what we would like. We would like to see a bottom-up regime. We wanted to strengthen.
Well, you actually did. You just joined the military under Bill Clinton,
under Clinton,
whom I assume you didn't vote for.
Right. Have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing.
This was a keynote. Joe Kent reveals in this interview a 2004 fatwa, which is some sort of religious edict, I guess, in the Shia Islam in Iran against the development of a nuclear weapon. The Ayatollah actually in 2004 had a doctrine that said that they
3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa
of getting a nuclear weapon. Just start here. They can't have a nuke.
That's fair.
Yeah, they can't have a nuke. Whenever asked, we say, "Let's just start here." They can't have a nuke. Okay, got it. Everyone agreed with that conceptually. Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't. 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004.
Well, what in the world is going on, Colfax? So now we finally get our policymakers to talk about the fact that Iran hasn't been even seeking a nuclear weapon since 2004? And this is something, and I'm not saying that is actually what's happening on the ground, and I'm not saying that there's some evidence to suggest that they did seek it since 2004. But according to the director of National Counterterrorism Center, I guess, Iran wasn't close to getting a nuclear weapon since June, since we bombed all of their facilities, and they weren't even seeking it. Is that not like... are we back to WMDs before Iraq War in 2003, which Trump ran against?
Picture a big history book about the Trump era, of which there'll be many. And if you sliced out the word lying of anywhere where it appears, it would be Swiss cheese. The man is a pathological liar, and why people insist on pretending to believe in him, that's the big mystery of it. It's a cult, yes. And the Trump derangement syndrome is actually mirrored. It's the other way.
You've got that disorder like no other before. You've got Trump derangement.
No, it goes the other way. I wish I had a mirror to hold it up, because to support him is to be deranged. And you know what? If you support him, you should be attacked by a lawnmower. That's the way I feel.
Well, that's what happened to Rand Paul. If you saw this, Rand Paul, a United States Senator from Kentucky, was attacked and impaled while working on his house. I don't think he was on a lawnmower, but his neighbor had a lawnmower and plunged at Rand Paul. And then the good senator from Markwayne territory, Markwayne. Ever heard of a name called Markwayne? Hey, let's not have a middle name. Let's just combine two first names and call it a name. He was on Capitol Hill testifying, and Senator Paul was attacked by a lawnmower and his neighbor years ago. Markwayne, the former tough guy MMA fighter, was saying that he thought it was a good thing that the Senator Paul was attacked, and then denied that he said it was a good thing. He said, "Oh, I understood why your leftist lunatic neighbor attacked you with a lawnmower." And Senator Paul said, "Oh, that's what you said." And then Markwayne said, "No, I understood it. I didn't approve of it. I understood it." So big tough guy Markwayne can't even own the fact that he said that about Paul, but yet he doesn't have the temperament. Did you see this hearing?
You're leaving out the detail that happened so long ago that it was actually in the caveman language of ooh ooh lawnmower ooh ooh ooh. It
Well,
was
I got news for you. If I get attacked and impaled by my nuts, Trump deranged neighbor who's a psychopath, and I'm in the hospital for 2 months with broken ribs and recovering, believe me, I won't think, oh, it was just so long ago. Anyway, it's going to be personal. And if you're before my committee and you want to be the Secretary of Homeland Security, I'm a hard no.
and I want the committee to know that 15 years ago, the representative took my sandwich out of the break room.
It really is a pattern of this. Let's go
It's
ahead
a
and roll the
pattern.
tape.
Pull up! Pull up!
You know where to find me. Any place.
Now this is relevant.
Cowboy. Sir, this is a time. This is a place.
Here it is. Here we
You
are.
want to run your mouth. We can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd
Let's
love
go.
to do it.
Pull up!
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand up, Bono.
You're
Oh,
Stop it.
yeah, I'm in May. Yeah, let's go, baby.
Sit down.
Sit
No, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay. Sit down, please.
I'll
Can I
pull your
respond?
nards off.
Hold it.
If he got up too, would you have gone at it right there in the hearing room?
I would have probably jumped over the dais. At that
Oh,
point. You
tough
have to be
guy.
called out on. If not, this guy continues to get away with this stuff, and it's just, it's silly, it's stupid, but every now and then you need to get punched in the face. Well, go back to the 1800s and 1700s. They used to have canings
And duels. And they used to have
and
duels.
duels.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a way that men used to settle their differences. I ignored him 4 times prior to that, and people say, "Yes, you're supposed to ignore it." Well, I'm not a very good Christian. I try to be a good Christian, and I know people say you're supposed to turn the other cheek. I prefer the David method.
But we need to move from an almost
And by the
fight.
way, I'm not afraid of biting. I will bite.
Biting.
Ooh.
Well,
I'll
I mean-
bite 100. Yeah.
We
if
know
I'm gonna
you were
bite,
an
I'll
MMA
do it.
fighter.
I mean, I'm not above it, and I don't care where I bite. By the way, it just is going to be a bite.
In hindsight, any regrets?
No, I really don't.
Do you think he should?
Pull up. So,
Do you think he should have that fight in JR's gay bar in what's the gay neighborhood of Washington D.C. The
DuPont Circle. Oh, I'm sure that Markwayne has seen his fair share of hustling in a hustling bar. Let's
his
be
friend,
real.
His friend Tom Cotton hangs out there, so he can take the bet money.
Well, there he is. And then later in that hearing, so tough guy Markwayne says that, we need to settle this. Pull up to this Mr. O'Brien guy. And Rand Paul confronts him with his past statements of being totally supportive of some radical, rabid, liberal psychopath charging down with a lawnmower to attack him, puts him in the hospital for 2 months, okay? He's got all these rib broken stuff. And then Markwayne says, oh, no, I didn't say that I supported that radical nut. I said that I understood it. Well, did you understand the person that assassinated Charlie Kirk? Did you understand when the guy showed up to try to kill a bunch of Republican congresspeople at a baseball game? Did you understand when people do acts of violence? That was a very cuckish way to respond for such a tough guy MMA fighter. And then he showed all of his constituents when he attacked the Teamsters president, that bald over beast man sitting there saying, well, let's go, I'm ready. He was clearly not ready, let's be all right. Mr. O'Brien. And then a couple years later, after he showed all of his constituents how tough he was, he drags that guy who supposedly he's so battling with and ready to fight on the committee floor that Bernie Sanders got to gavel down, and he drags that same guy, and he was sitting right behind him at this hearing, so that he's a man of honor, and he's a man of masculinity through show of strength, but through carrying a big stick, and he can put aside his differences. What a fake snake Markwayne is. And in fact, that was his criticism of Rand Paul, calling Rand Paul a snake. I loved that, and I'm glad that Rand Paul decided to show how real of a person he is, to say, it's personal for me, and you also have done it in the past.
Well, excuse me if my AIDS and syphilis and herpes is affecting my mind, but isn't he the guy that also had the gun on the House floor and helped put up furniture as barricades for those rioting, evil, criminal January 6thers? Or he was crouching in the in the seats below.
Wait, are you talking about Josh Hawley, who scampered out at 100 miles an hour on J6? Who are you talking about? I would say Mark Mullin was the guy who was hiding, cowering under a table with all those heroic freedom fighters that he now calls them from J6.
Everybody that was under fire, you should say, as in, you know what I mean, is under fire to be like 1,000 people storming down at the hall that want to kill you. Every one of them, all of them, at Trump's direction, was like, there's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't a protest. I mean, it wasn't a riot. Ugh.
Well, I'm going to take it to your favorite defense secretary now, who gave a impassioned plea for hundreds of billions of dollars now, because sometimes it takes a lot of money to go after the bad guys.
It seems early for cocktail time, but all right.
Trump knows better. Epic Fury is different. It's laser focused. It's decisive. Our objectives, given directly from our America First president,
take out schools in Iran.
Exactly what they were on day one. These are not the media's objectives, not Iran's objectives, not new objectives, our objectives. Unchanged, on target, and on plan.
Where missiles are
Destroy
flying
missiles,
everywhere, no
launchers,
the direction.
And Iran's defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild. Destroy their navy, and Iran never gets a nuclear weapon.
According to Joe Kent, Iran wasn't close to getting a nuclear weapon. That was the objective in June, to ensure that they didn't have the means to produce one. So what are we doing there now if the objective in June was to take out their ability to pursue enriched uranium to 90, whatever level it takes? I'm getting confused here, because Joe Kent, the counterterrorism center director, just said that they weren't pursuing nuclear weapons and they weren't close to getting one. So what is this guy talking about?
Our objectives from day one.
How many naked photos does Bibi Netanyahu have on him?
Wait, isn't this the guy?
Patriotic members of the press, nobody can deliver perfection in wartime. This building knows that more than anyone. But report the reality. We're winning decisively and on our terms.
Okay, so I shouldn't have to
Iran
give
is
you
a vast
$400 billion.
country, just like Hamas,
right?
and their
We're winning.
tunnels. They've poured any aid, any economic development, humanitarian aid into tunnels and rockets. That's what they did with Hamas. Iran has funneled decades of state resources, not to their people, but into missiles and drones and proxies and buried facilities.
What do you want to bet that Pete Hegseth's head is on a silver platter for when Trump needs to pull the plug? And is this TV actor not a suitable target to just let him rot on the committee floor?
It was all bad advice from Hegseth. He tried to do a good. He tried to do a good job though, and I'm putting him over in some mid-level job so he can get a pension. But isn't this the same guy that used the USS Gerald Ford, the biggest aircraft carrier ever, and had it ram right into the United States and dig a trench for 1,000 miles? And have the tip of it come right to his ex-wife's door just to threaten her?
I think that's the guy. I do think that's the guy, and I know you're a big fan of Mr. Hegseth, who is acting and LARPing, it seems, as a defense secretary. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be his head on a platter here very shortly. But again, to give all of this word salad and try to gaslight people from the real reason, one of them possibly is, it's been highly convenient that we were owed an extra 2 to 4 million documents about all of the global predators that we were promised from this Trumpian MAGA movement. And yet it's convenient that Pam Bondi gave her secretive subpoenaed statement in which she said, in response to all of the violations that she's done about her own, she's in direct contempt, she's in indirect contempt, everything. She's violating the laws that were passed. She says to every question that Democrats posed to her before they stormed off, I am complying with the law. I am complying with the law. You know, anytime I get charged, I should have said, anytime you interact with police, you should just say, I am complying with the law.
This reminds me of what I mean about Rand Paul should not have brought up his big, long personal story. I get it. I don't want to be attacked by a lawnmower. I don't want to be in the hospital for 2 months, and I don't want a lot of pain. But it's the same thing. All those Epstein victims, where is he on that? You know, that happened many years ago, and it needs to be resolved. And where is he on that? So it's a personal grudge with him. Like, you said a nasty thing about my problem and haven't apologized for 15 years. That is some baby shit right there.
Well, I believe that a little bit of drama is not a bad thing when it comes to the performance art that our politics have turned into. It's being completely turned into performance art, which you're a performance artist, Colfax. You should know that better than anyone, aren't you? Tell us how to navigate these waters.
Just send a lot of nasty letters to a small town and see what happens.
No, when you injected yourself into the Ramsey case.
Oh, that.
All right. Well, that's kind of the news for the day. Little bits of drips. We're going to try to keep our limited hangout on a limited time frame, but we've got a classic unfolding crisis after crisis that seems every hour. And then last night on the toilet, the president tweeted on his truth scam social media account, which he promotes more private businesses being promoted by this White House, which is insane in and of itself. Using his private company to tweet from the toilet at midnight, he said that he was very angry at Israel for, bombing part of the oil field, the South Par oil field, which is one of the most important oil fields in the world. And if you're ever paying $5 per gallon for gas, the last thing you want is that oil field to be attacked. Well, Israel could care less, and they've got Trump by the balls, cooked and ready to roll, with all the compromise in the world. Goodness knows what kind of stuff that Netanyahu has over Trump's head, which, by the way, he's met with Trump like 10 times in the last 3 months. Every new time. You want to see the real Epstein files, Colfax? We should have dug into Netanyahu's briefcase when he went to the White House. Those are the real files.
So you were basically trying to say, stay with us as we, our take in this program is that a barnyard full of shit and we'll just roll in it easily. Instead of being Tucker Carlson-esque. And
a hero. Thank God Fox got rid of him.
Think of all to come. We have America's 250th birthday coming up. And I remember 1976 or 76 with the big bicentennial, and it was such a big deal. Even after Nixon, Ford was president. Nobody thought of it politically except for it was just great, America, America, and all of that. This one is wrecked already. The prince, the king of England, is about ready to cancel coming here to celebrate that due to the Epstein problems and Trump's mental illness and derangement. And then there's the big thing is the midterms. It's just going to be, the country's going to change.
Well, I don't think. What do you think $10 a gallon gas will do for congressmen at your local congressman's elections probability?
I wouldn't want to be any kind of congressman going door to door knocking. Will you vote for me?
No, you could get attacked by a lawnmower, and then a senator could say he loved it, and then try to be the chief of the Department of Homeland Security.
Well, there'll be people going, I had to walk 10 miles to the Walmart yesterday.
Well, I could think of no better person that could lead a department of thousands and thousands of people with guns after already killing a number of people in these protests, that have Senator Markwayne, one word, one name, Senator Markwayne at the helm after he promoted and then tried to backtrack his support of his mortal enemy, Republican Senator Rand Paul. Crazy times. Chairman Dr. Senator Rand Paul. That's all the time we have at the Limited Hangout.
Wait, one more thing. Can I ask you to be the first supporter of J.D. Vance 2028?
Well, despite his cross-dressing days years ago and the makeup he puts on, I think that despite all of that, he had a good chance of becoming the nominee, despite all of those issues in his personal life, until Trump decided to triple down on this Israeli-led war to basically disrupt the Middle East to hell or high water. And I think that J.D. Vance's on Kalshi has plummeted, and I'm betting on Marco, and so is Israel.
Yeah, and J.D. Vance helped cook up the rage quit of Kemp.
Kent, that is Kent, who was the counterterrorism director, who was Trump's friend last week, and now is going to be possibly charged by Pam Bondi. Yes, Pam Bondi wants to charge Joe Kent while she covers up all of the global wealthy predators and pedophiles that she has spent a lifetime of protecting.
I forget the name because I personally call him Tiger Drawers.
Tiger Drawers, Limited Hangout. We've got it all here. Make sure you like this video if you like our content. Not necessarily if you like our politics, but if you like our content and our entertainment. It's just us, and it's going to be just us for a while. I'm Z. That's Colfax. You're in the Limited Hangout. Any final words, Colfax?
Roll in the shit with us.
Have a good day.